and gentlemen, from Radio City Music Hall in New York City, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing.
All right, people, listen up. This is it. This is our big night. And nobody said this was going to be easy. But if you do what I tell you, I guarantee you we're going to knock them out the box. All right? Gainer, you got to stick and move, no matter what. You're long, you're rangy, stick and move. Nelson, stay on your toes at all times. You're a good, fast fighter. Rodriguez, stay loose. Don't tighten up on me. I need you to be loose, okay? All of you, you have to use your legs. You must use your legs at all times, okay? Everybody got that? All right, people, let's huddle up. All right, this is it. This is our big moment, okay? 1, 2, 3, yes!
Hello, I'm Rudy Giuliani, Mayor of the City of New York. I'd like to welcome Roy Jones Jr. as he fights in Radio City Music Hall, this historic occasion in the capital of the world, New York City.
Since Radio City Music Hall first opened its doors back in 1932, more than 300 million have witnessed concerts, theatrical performances, and the Rockettes on the great stage. Tonight, when its curtain goes up, the performer who attempts to bring the crowd to its feet is Roy Jones, boxing's undisputed light heavyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Never before has Radio City played host to a sports event, and at this historic premiere, thousands in attendance anticipate Roy Jones delivering a performance of unmatched hand speed and devastating knockout power.
Roy Jones utterly destroying an opponent who had never previously been knocked out.
The best entertainers of the past decade have graced this 144-foot wide stage, the length of a city block. Moments from now, its star-studded history grows even richer when Roy Jones appears at one of New York City's most famous landmarks.
Ron Lipton watching as Roy Jones tattoos Brennan. And then Jones says, look, you want more? Okay.
After a 7-month restoration, the theater recently reopened, bringing back its beautiful Art Deco designs of decades ago. Shortly, when all eyes focus on stage, the spotlight falls on a solo artist who in his 11-year career has treated breathless, sold-out crowds to unforgettably spectacular performances.
And that's that. Jones gets his vindication via a first-round knockout.
Roy Jones and Radio City Music Hall, the world's greatest fighter on the entertainment world's most hallowed stage. Tonight, they come together to make history.
Okay, New York, it's time for the big show.
Radio City Music Hall on a bone-chilling night in New York City. HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. Every year, more than 2 million people walk through the doors of this historic national landmark. Yet tonight, they enter as the first spectators ever to witness not only a world championship fight, but the very first sports event ever to take place on this hallowed stage of Radio City Music Hall. As Roy Jones Jr., undisputed light heavyweight champion, the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport today, defends his crown against New York's David Telesco. Also featured, heavyweight Derek Jefferson, the victor in 1999's most exciting heavyweight fight, takes on the highly regarded David Izon. An interior look at the world's most spectacular entertainment auditorium, recently renovated and brought back to its original state of pristine beauty for tonight's first ever sports event. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this special edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing. Special because later tonight you'll hear the great Whitney Houston singing America the Beautiful. Special because we're in Radio City Music Hall for the very first time and the very first sports event ever here. Special because it's the latest appearance of the world's best fighter, Roy Jones Jr. Fitting that here on stage with me as we get ready for this evening is the two-time heavyweight champion and one of the great entertainers of the modern era, George Foreman. And George, right across town, 19,000-seat Madison Square Garden is empty tonight. Roy Jones fights here before a sold-out house of 6,000. Bad for the sport because Roy's not fighting in the big house, or great for the sport because we're venturing into new and classy territory?
Well, where you find Roy Jones Jr., you find the big house. He is the big house. The Garden will always have its great splendor. But tonight is a wonderful occasion to introduce boxing to the great spectacle of Radio City. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And so do we. Jones Telesco, the main event to take place later on this. A bitter cold night outside in New York City, perfectly clear. Inside, a warm night. The Rockettes graced the stage earlier with Roy Jones to begin the evening, and a gaggle of celebrities have filled the hall, including, of course, many of the cast members from the HBO hit show The Sopranos. Spike Lee is a fixture at all New York fights. Queen Latifah, my former neighbor in the Hollywood Knowles neighborhood of L.A., and Larry Holmes and Leroy Neiman and Rosie Perez and many others here to enjoy the first sports event ever to take place on the legendary stage at Rockefeller Center's Radio City Music Hall. What a night. And now coming up in just a few minutes, the main event, the man who brought us here, Roy Jones Jr., who could have seen to it that this fight would have taken place at a casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, or at some other site closer to his home in Pensacola, Florida, but who opted to come here and take the opportunity of being the first sports act to appear on the stage at Radio City Music Hall, and by doing so, shorted himself upwards of $500,000. Larry Merchant, it's not the normal thing for a fighter to do. It's hard to imagine almost any other current fighter doing it. What is it about Roy Jones that, at a cost of more than $500,000 to him, brought us to Radio City tonight?
Well, because Sinatra and Garland and Springsteen and Jackson all performed here. And because he's been so dominant that he needs some special additive to get his motor racing. Whatever. 2 or 3 times a year, Roy Jones leaves his 80-acre spread in Pensacola, where he has 2 sons, twins, where he has 300 fighting gamecocks, and count them, 42 pit bulls, goes on the road, has a fight, wins the fight, and goes home $3 or $4 million richer. What a guy. What a country.
And what a night in Radio City Music Hall. And of course, just as David Izon just scored the upset over Derek Jefferson, David Telesco would like nothing better than to steal the show from Roy Jones here tonight. George Foreman, the former Port Chester High School football star, looks to us to be the solidest, biggest, strongest light heavyweight that Roy will ever have been in the ring with. What can you do to make those assets a factor against a fighter as fast as Jones?
He's got to attack. First round, 3 minutes. Sit down on the stool, attack for the other 3 minutes. Can't let up. If he goes out there and try to figure this thing out, he's not going to last long with Roy Jones. But if he attack, use those muscles. Use that football player stuff on him. He can win.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing whether he can do it. Normally at this moment, we'd be bringing the fighters out to you, but because of the stoppage toward the end of Jefferson and Izon, the fighters are not yet gloved and ready to come out. So let's take a moment to look deeper into Roy Jones's personal life. You've learned a lot about him over the years. Maybe you remember that the man who knows him best, his closest friend, is junior welterweight contender Derek "Smoke" Gainer. In this case, where there's smoke, there's the fire of a beautiful friendship.
Roy Jones has always been a forbiddingly private person, making it difficult for anyone to get really close. So no one knows Roy quite like Derek "Smoke" Gainer. The friendship between Roy and the junior lightweight contender Gainer goes far beyond stablemates who work out together, or even buddies who enjoy a friendly game of hoops. Over the years, these two boxers have become more like family, soulmates. Their friendship began 16 years ago when Derek, fatherless and often in trouble, found his way into a boxing gym hoping to meet the Olympic prospect.
He told me, look, you have to straighten your life up. You're either going to be in jail or you're going to be dead.
So somehow God tapped him in that head of his and knocked him back on the right road. And that really made me proud of him.
As a fighter, Derek Gainer has his doubters. Roy Jones will never be one of them. When Derek fights, you'll always find Roy ringside cheering him on, even if it's only minutes before his own fight.
Something real what he's done for me, for my career. Roy has really, I mean, when it comes down to for a negotiation, if Smoke is not on the card, no Roy. You can't get me unless you get Smoke. If he's fighting the same night, he's there. You know, what a bond. I mean, that's a friend right there.
Derek has been there for Roy as well, witnessing firsthand Roy's greatest disappointment, his disqualification loss to Montel Griffin that tormented Jones more than most ever realized.
It really affected him a lot. He was so mad, and you saw it at the interview. He was so mad because of what boxing, the writers are saying about him, and, you know, all the bad rap, and he's the best fighter in the world. It really made him say, well, I would retire from boxing. But at the same time, it motivated him. It brought back out RJ. The RJ came out. Montel Griffin, the second fight. That was Roy Jones Jr. That was the best Roy Jones Jr. you're going to see.
After the Griffin vengeance knockout, boxing critics continued to cry out for an opponent who would push Roy to the edge, a defining fight to secure his place in history. Derek routinely talks with Roy about all the what-ifs.
It's not his fault that he came along at this era. I mean, I would love to see him against Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, and Benitez.
Maybe Roy's most defining moment occurred 8 years ago, the forced separation from his abusive father. Over the years, Derek bore witness to this tumultuous relationship, which has just recently been reconciled.
They disagreed. Someone saying this, someone saying that, and it caused a friction, but now the problem has been solved. The type of relationship Roy has with his father is a great relationship, a father and son relationship.
The relationship Roy and Derek have is built on trust and respect. With all the successes Roy has enjoyed, it's his homegrown friendship with Derek Gainer that prevents him from ever losing sight of who he is and where he came from.
All the belts, the money, the cars, whatever, none of that stuff has changed Roy. He's still the same person that I met back in 1984. You know, and that's rare.
As rare as a true lifetime friendship, the kind Derek Gainer enjoys with the world's best fighter.
And I say, what makes you, you know, do so much for me? Why? And he always say, he says, Smoke, for one, I'm not selfish. And for two, I love you. And I want to see you succeed. And I know you can.
Tonight's card, an exception to the rule. Smoke Gainer not appearing here because he has signed to fight Diego Corrales for the World 130-pound championship that Corrales holds a little bit later on down the road.
You know, I spoke to referee Arthur McCanty, Jr. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's the tail of the tape.
All right, let's start with the ages on the tail of the tape, and you see that Roy Jones is 31 there, is outlined in red. That's because technically, at this moment, he's still 30. But he'll be 31 in a little more than an hour when it becomes midnight and becomes January 16, because that's his birthday. Telesco is already 31. Telesco with a 1-inch height advantage. They both weighed in at 175 and arrived tonight weighing well over 180. Reach is equal at 74 inches. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Here's their activity. Telesco, as you can see, throws a lot of punches, but his punch rate doesn't add up to very much. Jones is a very resourceful fighter, doesn't throw a lot of punches, but lands a high percentage. Both fighters throw a fair amount of jabs. Telesco a number of them, but you can forget the jab. It isn't really meaningful in either of their armors.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Roy Jones Jr. David Telesco fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Performing in the role of Harold Letterman, that's Harold Letterman. And here comes David Telesco. Italian mother, African-American father, high school football star in Westchester County's Portchester, New York. Turned to boxing after he got in trouble with the high school football coaching staff. Eventually missed 3 years of his professional career, what might have been the height of his career, as he went to prison for dealing drugs, but has come back from that admirably and brings a 19-fight win streak into this assignment with Jones.
And he's fighting at home, so he's been building toward this virtually all of his life, feeling that he has the qualities to be a special athlete.
While he was in prison, his mother passed away at age 45, and after her untimely death, he said that he had promised her he would win a light heavyweight title. So he'll be trying to fulfill that pledge to his mother, who passed away while he was away in prison, with a victory over Jones tonight.
And it looks like he's trying to make this entrance as long as a parade up Fifth Avenue.
Well, Telesco was infuriated by a fight promotion poster that had a picture of Jones and no picture of him. He feels as though the promotion has been subject to favoritism all along.
Well, the proper attitude is to say, next time you'll have my photo on the poster.
His handlers are hoping that he will use it as motivation. Telesco's only 2 losses came early in his career against a fighter named Ernest Mateen. He later avenged those losses following his prison stint with a knockout of Mateen. 19 KOs, first championship fight, 19-fight win streak. Hasn't lost since 1991. For a guy who's pretty big in the upper body, he has relatively thin pipes underneath it.
His last fight was against the tough Philadelphia fighter, Will Taylor, and Taylor hit him a lot of good shots, and he stood up to them.
And now here comes Roy Jones. Well, we don't anticipate a run-of-the-mill cut-and-dried entrance from Jones in these circumstances. Obviously, he's going to want to put on a show. While you're watching this upcoming bout, you can also log on to www.hbo.com/boxing to chat and score each round of tonight's action. While at the website, voice your opinion on tonight's poll question. Assuming a victory over David Telesco here, and the odds on the fight are listed in Vegas at 20-1. Whom would you like to see as Roy Jones's next opponent? We suggest 4 possible candidates. Longtime middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins. Jones defeated Hopkins in a decision back in Washington, D.C. 5 years ago. The 2 German-based
light heavyweights, Rakajani and Michalczewski. Michalczewski with the more impressive record, or former middleweight titleist Michael Nunn. Vote on the website and tell them who you expect to see him fight or want to see him fight in the next bout if he gets past Telesco.
We're waiting for Roy's music to key up. And meanwhile, I just want to go back to saying Arthur McKenney Jr. told me before that when he went into the corner after that round, he saw how tired Jefferson was, so he was ready to stop the fight. He didn't stop it earlier when Jefferson had Izon almost out on the ropes because he felt Izon was still punching back. So he was right. The corner was right about Izon, and I was wrong.
Also wrong about Roy Jones' age. He's 30 years old.
Well done, George. A vote for accuracy.
See me in an hour.
I'm getting out of here.
This is not the music that Roy Jones had anticipated entering the ring on. And since they have played music that is not what Roy wanted and isn't Roy's music, Roy wouldn't enter.
So it
now
goes.
They're going to start the music over.
So it goes when you get into box-otainment.
That's what you would like to do if you're an opponent. Start messing up everything for the champion. Wrong music, wrong shoe, wrong gloves. Next thing you know, it's the wrong night for the title. Hold it.
Here's some more music. Maybe this will be the You've just arrived from another planet and you're wondering who the two guys in the strange hats are dancing with Roy Jones. That's Red Man and Method Man. Roy detouring through press row.
Maybe giving them a few words about his fighter, David Izon.
And the record for Roy Jones, of course, the only loss, as you saw in the taped feature piece, was by disqualification to Montel Griffin, later avenged on a first-round knockout. Overall, 40 wins, 1 loss, 33 KOs for the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Holds all 3 belts in this division, as does Lennox Lewis in the heavyweight division. Now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to honor us and America with song is America's First Lady of Song, the lovely and talented, award-winning international superstar, Miss Whitney Houston.
All right. Y'all ready for a big fight? Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Music. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, yes, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. For a land so.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Radio City Music Hall here in New York, New York, it's time for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. Presented to you by Murad Muhammad and M&M Sports, along with Jordan Brand, Square Ring Incorporated, Madison Square Garden, Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, and the Grand Casinos of Mississippi. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission and sanctioned and recognized by the IBF, the WBA, the WBC, the IBO, and the NBA. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout on the 10-point must system under the unified rules will be Melvina Lathan, Luis Rivera, and Sid Rubenstein. And for the 136th time in the ring in a world title bout, from the International Boxing Hall of Fame, your referee in charge of the action, Arthur Mercanti. And now from Radio City Music Hall, New York, New York, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world on HBO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, white, and green. He weighs in at 175 pounds and has an outstanding professional record consisting of 23 victories with only 2 losses. 19 of those victories have been by knockout. He comes into this ring with 19 consecutive wins, 15 by KO, and stands ready for a golden opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, from Portchester, New York, here is the challenger, ranked number 2 in the world, David Devastation Telesco. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing silver and also weighing in at 175 pounds. An Olympic silver medalist whose professional record now stands at 40 victories, including 33 knockouts, with 1 disqualification loss avenged by a stunning first-round KO. Ladies and gentlemen, from Pensacola, Florida, presenting the man universally recognized as pound for pound the best there is in the world today. The former middleweight, former super middleweight, and reigning, defending, 2-time and now undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Let me get them out of the ring. All right, come on, man, let's go. Good evening, Roy and David. You both received your instructions earlier in the day. So shake hands now and come out boxing at the bell, and good luck.
Can Telesco handle Roy Jones' power? If he can, we might see a fight.
Arthur Mercanti, senior, refereeing his 136th World Championship fight as he begins his 7th decade working the fights, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and now the zeros. Faithful service to the sport from Mercanti, whose son, Mercanti Jr., did the job refereeing the heavyweight fight between Jefferson and Izod.
Telesco has got to be afraid and attack. Attack. Don't box with this guy. He's an excellent boxer, Roy Jones Jr.
Roy is laying back a little bit because he expects Telesco to attack.
Roy Jones stands back and watch. He's probably the best fighter around that watches what he's doing.
Jones acknowledged to us that he's never fought anybody as strong and as big as Telesco. He said, frankly, I'd like to see Telesco come out and fire everything at me early. I'd like for him to punch himself out so that I can have an easier time of it later on. Telesco has a tendency to start slowly and get better in the later rounds.
Already Roy has gone to the body twice. He has a history of trying to see what his opponent has in the first round, going after him, trying to touch him. And then if he sees that his opponent can handle it, slow down and try to break him down.
Right now he's just using his speed to lead with power punches and jump right at Telesco, George.
Yeah, Floyd Patterson would always go to the body, then go upstairs after the guy sets his defense for the body shots. That's Roy Jones Jr. is doing right now.
Telesco is maintaining his poise, but he just got hit with 2.5 clean shots.
In honor of his mother's Italian heritage, Telesco wears trunks which have the Italian colors, red, white, and green on one side, the American colors, red, white, and blue on the other.
Clean right hand by Jones. Telesco deals with it.
Jones obviously has picked out the right hand lead as a tactic that he thinks will work against Telesco. He's used a half dozen or more of them here.
Roy Jones is doing exactly what Telesco should be doing. Staying busy, attacking. You have no hope of taking a guy's title standing back waiting.
Helen, among the things that Telesco is seen not to do particularly well is backing up, and Roy has found a way here in round 1 to back Telesco up much of the time.
Roy intimidates opponents not with his power, but with his speed. When you get into the ring with someone who is quicker than anything you've ever seen before, it takes a little bit of your orientation away. You have to reorient your expectations. Clean right hand by Jones.
And in addition to his speed, his creativity, his ability to come out and do something different every time.
Not sure Telesco expected Roy to come out and hot shot him with lead power shots in the first round. That's what's happened. And it was an easy round for the titleist.
Way to work. Way to work. All right. Just keep doing what you're doing. Use your feints a little bit more, make him commit himself. Right hand landing good. He ain't doing nothing for you to count off. Good right hand lead. He's just in here to survive. You'll catch up with him. He's going there.
Don't leave it to it work himself. Like you do. If you work, it's chicken up. You understand what I said? So you have to work.
A fighter as good as Roy Jones has to have a passion for what he does. What he's been accused of over time is not showing that passion. In this first round, we did see the passion. This is the kind of special occasion that brings it out in him.
And after a week in which David Telesco proved a man of few words, he was, in the first round, a man of few punches. Not throwing many, as he mostly looked at Jones and absorbed Jones's unconventional attack.
And when you scout a boxer like Roy Jones Jr., you see him back up 3 times, put both feet together. He's defenseless. That's when you want to throw it. A corner person is supposed to be watching those things like that.
Straight right hand lands up the middle again for Jones. Jones gradually creeping in and shortening the distance between himself and Telesco.
Telesco has got to aim his jab at Jones' chest. Don't try to hit the head. That'll happen if the fight goes beyond 6 rounds. Jab his chest, make him get his feet together. Certain things you cannot move out of the way of. One of them is that chest. And also the shoulders, of which he was able to land a good shot there.
That's right. Right hand to the body, left to the rib cage by Telesco. Probably his 2 best punches of the fight so far.
You're fighting a fighter like Jones, you don't try to get the head. Forget about that. That happens after 7 rounds, 6 or 7 rounds. He landed a good left jab to the body again.
Telesco starting to pick up the tempo now as he drops down and goes to the body, training his eyes now on Jones's chest. Almost as though he's listening to George's pointers from here at ringside.
But you got to do it and bring your hands right back into position because this guy's like a cobra. Don't worry about that. He throws a few. You back away, make him lose that energy. That hurt.
Now you recall that Roy Jones knocked Virgil Hill out with a single right-hand shot to the body.
Telesco is able to land a good left jab to the body again. What you got to do is, you're going to back away, let the left hand just stick out anyway.
And you saw something there. Telesco fired his jab, dropped it as he brought it back, and Roy countered over it with the right hand. Jones and his trainer Alton Murkerson say among the mistakes Telesco makes, he drops his left hand every time he brings a jab back, and they should be able to right hand counter over it.
It's all right to drop it, get your hands down, but stay in position as you back up. Good things happen if you're in position to do them. Fighting a good puncher like Roy Jones, you got to be a rubber man.
That right hand drove Telesco's head back. And Jones misses with another right as the bell sounds to end round 2. And Telesco talking to Jones as Roy goes back to his corner. If my lip reading is correct, he called him a bitch.
Well, you're not a lip
Can't
reader.
throw one punch in the time, Dave. You understand what I said? Yeah. It can't. The way you push it to the rope, do it. You know? Don't stand in this and waiting to him.
More ice on top. There you go.
Hey, come on, Dave. Come on. Okay? Put it in the rope. And throw the punch crazy. Don't wait to one punch. With him, you can wait. Okay? Come on, babe. Okay? Can't wait with him.
In these first 2 rounds, Roy has been landing with that blindingly fast right-hand lead. And there is power on those punches. Telesco is dealing with the power so far.
Through 2 rounds, David Telesco has thrown only 6 power shots. You heard George Foreman say before the fight, unequivocally, Telesco must attack. Hadn't been able to do it so far.
When I say attack, it doesn't have to be a whole lot of hard shots. Just do something all the time. Good counter punchers. They hate some fighter starting to be busy on them.
Telesco slipping down as he lunged forward, trying to get at Jones. Get a left hook into the body. Jones firing his right hand to the body and again. So as Telesco raises his hands in an exaggerated fashion to get his guard up, Jones goes straight down to the box.
Roy Jones is most effective with his power shots when his hands are to his sides. So this guy's got to make him pick up his hands in defense so he can't get off good shots.
Now the 2 fighters are talking to each other in there. Jones has been carrying on a conversation with Telesco in this round.
Jones turned southpaw for some reason. But Telesco said to him, "You can't hurt me, baby. You can't hurt me, baby." So far, this comes out, however, under the heading of "Be careful what you wish for."
Telesco was able to put his right hand right under his chin. That's what you want to do. The punches are not going to come from everywhere. They come in similar form each time. So you position your defense. Don't try to keep picking your hand up and down.
Jones stays in the southpaw stance. He's been mostly a right-hand puncher through the fight. Maybe he feels as though by standing this way he can get his left hand involved in the action. But he's still firing right hands and raking Telesco with him.
Telesco is giving him no reason to pick up his hands. Roy Jones Jr. power comes from when those shots, gloves are down to his hips. Got to make him pick them up.
And that means more activity. Telesco just isn't throwing enough punches.
Most fighters need their right hand higher to throw a counter right hand, but Roy Jones Jr. can do it as good. His right hand to his side.
Might have seen the CompuBox numbers before the fight that showed Telesco throwing an average of 27 jabs around and landing only 4. You might wonder, how can a fighter do that? You see how short Telesco's jab is much of the time here. Jones landing a combination as he drives Telesco into the corner. Hasn't done badly out of that southpaw stance and dances for the crowd a little bit.
You can do all those things when you're in fine conditioning. Roy Jones Jr. is in great condition.
I think the dance may actually have been for our on-the-apron ringside camera, the handheld. All his experience in television, Roy knows where the cameras are.
Work his way up. Thought he'd come to fight. He gonna fight late. We ain't gonna chase him here. He's high. He gonna run into something. He can't hit nothing. Yeah. He has to. He ain't even throwing no punches to hit nothing. Just keep doing. What's up, bro? Keep softening him up. Come hit again. Where that other ball at, man? Where the ball? My mouth. Give it here. They said they want to fight. I want to fight. That's right. He don't want to fight. Just stick to your game plan. We ain't got to prove nothing. He got to try to get it.
Roy Jones's mother, Carol, seated at ringside.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
It's time to go home, Roy. It's time to go home.
Not too far away from Carol are Roy's 2 twin boys. Terrific-looking young men.
Roy stands way back on that right foot. Way back. You got to do things that make him, well, he can't push off at all. Just make him, keep him off balance.
What do you think, Harold? Tough bout to score so far?
Not at all, kid. 30-27, 3-0 Roy Jones. But I better stop here because it looks like it may increase.
Telesco's going to risk a disqualification if he starts trying stuff like that.
Well, it's out of frustration. He's trying to get Roy in one place. How many times we've watched Roy Jones, how often have we seen him hit a square punch on the head.
Well, he's attacking now. Telesco should have done that in the first round. He wouldn't have so much swelling. Attack him.
It's quite a shouting match in there.
Stop the talking, box. Let's go.
Mercanti tells them not to talk to each other. I'm not sure the referee is necessarily within his authority telling the two fighters not to talk.
I think it's against rules to talk.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm not sure you'd want to put it in a family newspaper, what they're saying.
Harold, is it against the rules to talk?
Jim, to the best of my knowledge, it's against the rules. But McCarthy never stood for it. But I believe the referee has every right to tell him not to talk, or no histrionics, as Arthur would say.
Ali Frazier, I'm told by our executive producer Ross Greenberg, they talked plenty, and McCanty was in that ring too.
Since that time, certain states have started to forbid that.
You heard Arthur McCanty, who has a set, who sometimes does tend to butt in a little bit, saying that he would take a point away for talking. I never heard of that one before.
They don't want you to talk anymore. They don't want you to do it.
What we need to do is put him in the United States Senate.
Did you ever have a conversation with an opponent during a fight, George?
Well, I've had them talking to me, and I don't want to talk about that.
Jones tattooing Telesco through much of this round. Superior hand speed, scoffing at Telesco's footwork and handwork. Jones trying to add an element of humiliation to what has so far been punch-by-punch domination of David Telesco.
Telesco, you're going to get hit anyway. You may as well get hit for a reason. Attack Roy Jones. He's no more than any other boxer. All you got to do is believe that. You stay back, you're getting hit, so attack and get hit.
Yeah, but, you know, again, going back to what I said earlier, George, speed kills and speed intimidates, and it confuses, and he's discombobulated. Nothing he's ever done before prepares him for this.
So a frustrated David Telesco goes back to his corner. Arthur McCanty, for the moment, has brought an end to the kibitzing and upfront catcalling of the two fighters, but Jones continues to land with his fists.
Body punches. All right. Okay? Yeah. You have to punch it, or you have to try to put it in the rope. Okay. You know? Yeah. You have to try to put it in the rope. You have to put in pressure to can't get this guy. He's not going to stay all the way outside all the time. Okay. Okay? Yeah. Sure. Come on. You get to the chest and step in right away.
The right hand has been the hand of Thor for Roy Jones. He's dominating the fight with those fast right hands.
Stay there. Box.
Round 5, Roy Jones against David Telesco in Radio City Music Hall. First ever sports event on the stage where the Rockettes work out.
Good hard body shot by Roy Jones Jr. When I was talking earlier about speed, hasn't a whole lot to do with everything. You can determine Willie Pep was quicker than all of the featherweights. But Sandy Saddle kept attacking. You get spin, keep attacking. Attack.
Wilbur Jones saying, go ahead, come into the corner and get me. Trying to bait the opponent into opening himself up so that he can answer him. Come on in here and fight, he's saying to Telesco. Come on and fight. You're so tough. Telesco lands a grazing left hand.
Get in there and fight him. Fight him. He said, come fight, so fight him.
Telesco is still reticent to go all the way in. And Jones says, oh, what the heck, I'll come out and fire a combination on you. We've seen Jones vulnerable on the ropes in the past. He went to the ropes against Otis Grant and didn't look good.
Now, Telesco, you keep attacking. You're going to get hit. You can't help but get hit. This is a boxing match. But keep your attack going.
Well, Jones has succeeded in coaxing Telesco into the fight.
But see, he's smart, Roy Jones. He knows that this guy wants this fight to continue for long distance. He's making him wear himself out a little bit, which is smart. When a guy throws that many punches while you're on the ropes, he's got to get back and recover now. So now Roy Jones can get on the attack.
And why, you ask, would a serious professional fighter stand in the corner and beckon his opponent to come at him? Well, Roy Jones can get bored from time to time in there. In his last fight against a highly creditable fighter, Reggie Johnson, Jones won all 12 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards. It's not inconceivable. He's done the same thing through the first 4.5 rounds here.
Chopping hard right hands to the body.
Which are the best punches of the fight. He's been doing that throughout the fight. They hurt.
And he comes back upstairs to nail Telesco with a right hand there. And a left-right combination.
It appears that Roy Jones wants to end this fight before he gets to his 31st birthday in about 25 minutes.
Round 5 coming to a close. Another showcase for Roy Jones's right hand.
Way to give him a boxing lesson, baby. There you go. There you go. Just keep doing what you're doing. We ain't gonna change nothing. Ain't broke, we ain't gonna fix it. Way to work. Just keep touching. Punish him. You get rough on them ropes. Open them ropes up and spin out now. Don't stay on them.
Do me a favor because I stopped it from doing what?
Deep breath. There you go. Don't chop.
This guy, you have to close him. David, it's just you one punch and you step in and you can throw me more punches. Okay. Okay? Come on, David. David. He do everything he can already.
Nah, you can't hit me.
I'm gonna get you out of here. You're making too much noise.
And later in the round, he shows I can hit you.
Okay, box.
Mercanti Sr. went to both corners between rounds to urge the fighters to stop the filibustering and stick to the punching. Telesco averaging only 25 thrown punches per round. In round 5, Jones landed 24 of 36 power shots. George Foreman, I harp on this because it's the story of the fight so far. George Foreman clearly expressed before the fight what Telesco's job was: attack Jones, keep him busy, try to impose his will on him, and he's done nothing of the sort, giving Roy Jones the chance to simply strafe him from the outside with accurate right and left hand shots.
You cannot beat Roy Jones in a boxing match.
Now he's gone to the left jab.
Can't do it. You want to win a title, undisputed championship, you're going to have to get in there and attack.
Maybe, George, having seen the first fight, Telesco's hoping that Roy Jones gets tired in the late rounds and he catches him then.
He's not displaying much hope at all now.
What happened in the first fight, in case you missed it, is that favored rising prospect Derek Jefferson in the heavyweight division pounded away at David Izon for 8 rounds, and then by the end of the 8th was so exhausted, having won virtually every round, that Izon was able to gain a TKO victory in the 9th against a totally done-in Derek Jefferson. It shuffled the deck once again in the heavyweight division as Jefferson was on his way toward title contention before he tired here tonight.
Telesco has let this thing develop into a boxing match, and I'm telling you, there's not much of a chance. Only he could just get it into his heart and go to the hospital tomorrow, get your healing. But get out there tonight, get cut, get scratched, win this thing.
There's a hard left hook to the body by Telesco, and another hard left to the body and a right. Best flurry of the fight for Telesco.
That's what you want to do. Now you don't let him get back. You got to just take a deep breath and keep doing it.
Jones nailed him with a couple of counter right-hand shots as the flurry came to a close, but Telesco for once was the aggressor and made it count.
You got to get back. You can't let him wait to pay you back. Roy Jones is a conservative fighter. If he gets a knockout, good. If not, he's content to go the distance.
Totally content to go the distance. In fact, he believes if you're risking anything by going for the knockout, the professional thing is to take your rounds and go the distance.
So let's go.
Stop!
We are inside the fabulous Radio City Music Hall. It opened December 27, 1932, and for 67 years has been the shrine of great entertainment in the United States. More than 2 million visitors a year enter the Radio City Music Hall from all around the world to view the Rockettes and the great entertainment acts which have played here. Tonight, for the first time, it's host to a sports event.
You're doing a good job keeping it dry. Let's continue to do that, huh? Huh? Yeah. Okay, man. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah,
Going to the 7th, champ. Let's go. All right.
Roy Jones has always made great entrances into the ring, but he's been criticized by a few observers for not making great exits. But it looks to me as though he's really trying to make a great exit in this fight, to finish the fight with some kind of style and decisiveness.
But if you were looking through the universe, if you were searching for a round to give to Telesco, maybe round 6 was where you found it. Jones was 19 out of 36. Telesco 14 of 38. First round in which he's thrown more punches than Jones. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
No, Jim, I got it 6-0, 60-54 Roy Jones. You know, Jim, when David Telesco bangs Roy Jones to the body, Roy picks their shots off with his elbows. I mean, it's good defense by Jones. It's unbelievable. When Jones punches to the body, they land. They get through, they land in the scoring area. Roy Jones, you see, right there, hit him right in the ribs, not on the elbows.
Telesco driving Jones back into the ropes. Looked like he was going to go for another one of those high tackles. And some of my ringside associates were scrambling for high ground, remembering how Hasim Rahman landed in our lap a couple of months ago. Our collective lap.
Arthur McKinney is how old?
80.
Good gracious.
In a couple of weeks.
He's in pretty good shape, George.
And he makes these guys pay attention.
Telesco with the counter left hand as Jones was banging away to the body with the right. Roy now firing lead left hooks. A new stratagem as round 7 evolves. And there's the right hand up the pipe again. Telesco's face is beginning to show the effects of Jones's many right hand connects.
I have no idea what Telesco is waiting on. Roy Jones doesn't tire. He's not going to get tired.
Jones, who trains year-round, in effect. No bad habits whatsoever.
And an excellent body puncher. My goodness.
Knock it off. Knock it off, Dave.
Hasn't done much jabbing at all, Roy Jones.
4-punch combination by Jones, and one for good measure. Well, the crowd beginning to get a little restless out in the expensive seats, and they're all fairly expensive seats here.
You think anyone ever booed the Rockettes?
Not if they saw him. But some of them are booing this. Maybe they expected Telesco to put up a more aggressive effort. The man who conceived the place, Roxy Rothafel, saw a sunset
on a European cruise ship coming back from Europe and said, I'd love for the effect of the theater to be like that.
Come here, listen. Got a red star? Yeah, okay. You have to work with this guy, Deb. Come on, work with him. Work with him.
Roy has never landed so many clean body shots against an opponent as he has against Telesco. Telesco has taken a real drubbing, but he keeps coming back, looking for an answer that doesn't seem to be out there.
Well, for the past 15 months or so, Telesco and his buddies have been showing up at Roy Jones events, news conferences, fights, even Boxing After Dark shows at which Roy is working as an expert commentator and in effect calling him out. Roy ignored them for months. Then when a date with Graziano Rakkhashani fell through here, he had his management call Telesco and say, your chance. Let's go.
Roy is standing in and exchanging with him for a moment there.
Roy throws his punches like you do a baseball bat. He just throws them upside a guy's head. Do you know that Archimo would not allow me to throw punches like that? So listen, George, if you're going to hit these guys, go for the knockout. Don't pound them. You can do permanent damage. Finish your guy off. If he's hurt, it's best to just go on and get it over with.
So Archie wanted you to punch more through the target instead of at it?
No, you just want to get the guy out of there. But when you start using your hands just like a rock or something, slinging punches, it's more harmful damage over the long run. Turn the shot over, get your knockout.
Now Jones backs into a corner gain and gives Telesco a chance to land. And Telesco lands 2 body shots and a straight right upstairs and comes back pounding to the ribcage. Best rally so far for Telesco, or one of them. And Jones accepts the punishment and then punches his way back.
The good thing, Roy Jones has his hands up high. Once his hands are up high, you're in a safe position. Keep them up high. He like to drop those hands so he can get some power with them.
George, you think that Roy's a little tired?
No, he's smart. He's understanding that he's exerted all the energy. Very experienced fighter with over 40 boxing matches, knows that, hey, these last rounds, you can get tired, get yourself hurt, make the other guy exert some energy. He's not tired, although he's not doing something smart.
Jones finally comes off the ropes.
Because Telesco is tired of throwing punches, so he's going to back up, look for some oxygen.
Welts.
Hold in the head and uppercut. Let's go.
McCanty warning Jones for holding behind the head after Jones ripped Telesco with a left hook.
There are welts under Telesco's eyes, and undoubtedly there are some welts under the skin around his middle because he's absorbed a tremendous body beating.
80-year-old referees watching things that we can't see. I like it.
Hands up. Other water bottle. Stick it out a little further when you put it down, shoot. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Yeah.
Boy, Roy, stop pushing your head down and uppercutting. Okay.
You gotta stop his elbows, too.
Okay.
You wanna do that? Okay. There we go. Okay, push it up to the rope. Don't give it no distance. If you fight from outside, you don't want to see him. You have to put it up in the rope and fight. You're doing good. Keep fighting, Bob. Come on, do it. Do it.
Here you see Telesco in his best round, a round he might have won, landing a hard right elbow. The first one we've seen tonight.
Round 9 begins. You saw the swelling around both Telesco eyes.
In the past, when Roy Jones has been this far ahead in a fight, he's tended to want to coast to the late rounds, believing why give an opponent a chance to do something dramatic.
So what if he does it here? Harold, how do you have it scored through 8?
You know, Jim, I gave David Telesco that 38th round. He certainly pounded Roy in the body enough, and, you know, he's hanging in there. There's no question. 79, 73, 7 rounds to 1. Roy Jones Jr. I think that 8th round is the only round that Telesco won. He's got to pick this up, or he has no chance whatsoever. He needs a knockout to win.
It wasn't you or me who gave him that round, Harold. It was Roy himself taking a blow.
That's true.
Telesco has been past 8 rounds 4 times in his career. Jones, a veteran of the distance, has been past the 8 11 times.
Those body punches are starting to hurt Telesco. He doesn't want any more of them.
Fighting from back here, Telesco may gain the honor of finishing the fight.
You don't want that honor. You want to be champ of the world.
Right hand drives Telesco back. Left hand whacks against Telesco's cheek. This is the Telesco of early in the bout, throwing few punches, missing when he does, and being pot-shotted from the outside by Roy Jones.
Roy coasted the last round, and now he's picking up the pace a bit. I still don't like those slingshot punches he throws.
Roy backs into the corner again. It's the same corner which has twice been an invitation for Telesco to go to work to the body. And now Mercanti's going to talk to Telesco about that low blow.
Stay in the neutral corner. Watch that low blow. That was nasty, okay? Next time. Okay, good. Box.
Telesco's left eye rapidly swelling shut. That's the effect of all those right hand leads.
Yep. Being slapped hard, slapped. Like abuse.
Because the glove slides across your skin.
Yeah, he just slaps you. But I just can't say enough for this referee. He's 80 years old. He stood up and bounced every round. Old ain't old anymore.
You doggone right, George. Let's go with a couple of left hooks to the body. Crowd gets into it as David begins to show his stuff.
You can't back up, though. You gotta stay there.
What a vicious left hook to the body by Jones.
That stool should have been in that ring, in that corner before he got
Roy, when you hit the bell, let me stop, okay?
It's the guy's low blow.
Another ball. Okay.
Open it up and don't stand with this joker when you get wild on the ropes. Open it up, stand in the middle. You're the one all around. Don't sit there and take no chance. If I'm keeping in the middle of the ring.
Watching, the guy hitting low blow, you don't say nothing. You don't do nothing. He hit me out of the rope. David, 2 more rounds. Put your hand high, put it to the rope, rough him up. Hit in the bounce again, fuck that. Okay?
Once again, Roy Jones to the side. Oh, that hurts me, George.
It hurts.
You know, Alton Merker, who has trained Roy Jones and knows him so well, told him in the corner, you know, you don't have to take any chances. Keep him in the center of the ring, etc., etc. I think Roy Jones ought to take some chances. I think he's here to win and show that he's got passion to do this as long as the fight goes on.
I agree.
By CompuBox numbers, round 9 was Telesco's best. He threw 47 punches. He landed 29 of them. And he both outthrew and outlanded Jones according to those numbers. But 47 punches still isn't enough. It's not the activity level that Telesco would need to give himself a chance to win the fight. He's got to attack at a higher, more aggressive level than that.
Now he did something smart. He threw a left hook to Jones' elbow, left elbow. He lays it out there, hit him on it.
To land punches with full power, you can't be moving all the time the way Roy Jones does, particularly against a big, strong guy like Telesco. You've got to stand and deliver. You just can't run. And so, although the punches are hard, stinging punches, they're not the kind of punches so far that have shown any serious damage on Telesco.
8 rounds are the ones Telesco.
Great body punch.
Huge body shot by Jones.
That's the one that hurt him.
It takes a moment to recover from those.
And while Telesco recovered, Jones fired away with the right hand. But now David comes back with a left hook to the body.
Telesco is fighting in front of his hometown fans, and he's giving everything he has to stay in there with the man who is recognized as the best fighter in the world, pound for pound.
And taking a lot of leather for the privilege of staying in there.
You got to take it, you got to give it.
Jones backs into a corner again. Let's see if Telesco accepts the invitation. Nope. Roy 1-2s and goes away.
But that's telling you something that Roy Jones no longer want to be in the ropes anymore. Now you got to attack. When a guy tells you I'm getting out of here, that means get on him.
This is the corner where Telesco's done some of his best work.
Good body shot, a left hook to the body, another left hook to the body.
And a left hook upstairs and another left hook upstairs. And Jones pot shots him with a right.
You just can't sit around and see what I've done. You gotta attack.
Jones's left hook to the body partially blocked by Telesco's elbow that time. That one Roy got in. And that stops Telesco's momentum for the time being.
Stop! Round 11 coming, David. Grab your hand, don't put your hand there. Don't show it to you. Don't show it. Come on, David, come on. You can do it, Papa. You can do it. Come on. Make me a good fight only, I want. You understand what I said? Come on. Suck it up. Come on. Okay. We're going to the left. We just got 2 more, champ. Way to work. Shoot. Keep this round like that.
There are a lot of wrecking balls in this town, knocking down buildings, and that's what that left hand to the body looked like.
Wrecking ball. I like it. Exactly like a wrecking ball.
Well, Telesco's accomplished one thing. By the time this fight is over, Roy Jones will have aged a full year.
30 what?
He's going to become 31 in a matter of about, 4 minutes here. So barring a knockout in this round, Jones's calendar will change during the fight.
Telesco now there. He's attacking. As I said earlier, before the fight start, attack, attack.
High marks for courage for Telesco. Few fighters would stand up to the barrages that Jones has delivered in this fight.
Roy Jones winked at Derek Gainer as he came out for this round, as if to indicate something's coming, or maybe it was just the reassurance of letting Gainer know he's okay.
It's like some of those basketball teams ahead 25 points and let the guy get back into the game. It's the kind of fighter Roy Jones is. He will let you get back into the fight.
I'm sorry. Break. Let's go. Let's go.
Roy Jones seems not to truly believe in his power. Doesn't want to finish a guy off. If he does it with one shot, good.
Telesco going forward. Jones landing as he vacates the space. Now he drives Telesco back again. When they face each other in the middle of the ring like this, it's just no contest.
Telesco is fighting now.
And as of this moment, Telesco goes deeper into a bout than he's ever gone before.
Let's go.
His 11th round knockout of Will Taylor had taken place by this moment in the 11th. So this is the farthest Telesco's ever gone in a fight.
Roy is trying to close the show dramatically. Telesco doesn't want to let him.
Gets in a few more of those body shots. Telesco just dropped.
The body work has been exquisite.
Body work by Jones.
Remember when he used to more or less decline to throw body punches? Just amazing the wrinkles that Roy has added over the years as he's varied his game, varied it again, and then added new levels here and there.
You got to put a good left jab. When you're tired, when you want to coast, keep jabbing the guy. Why should a guy hit on you? Fighters shouldn't allow guys to hit them when they don't have to be hit.
Well, there's about a minute to go to midnight. And Roy Jones' 31st birthday. I wonder whether they're going to drop the ball on Times Square for the next 60 seconds.
You can't take me out.
You can't take me out. You can't take me out.
That, I think, is the victory Telesco is looking for. Exactly that.
David. You come here with no water to the last round, baby. Last round, okay? Last round. Okay? Come on, baby. Come on. Okay? Last round, Papa. Good, good.
Another day at the office, baby. Be careful, okay? You take no chances, all right? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. That's all I want.
Come on. Okay, last round, baby. Beautiful. You're making a good fight. Okay? Let's do it. Only I want a good fight.
All right, baby. Okay. Last one.
Is this when we start singing Happy Birthday?
Is this what?
When we start singing Happy Birthday.
No. Time.
You can if you'd like.
Listen,
He's 31.
If he could spend New Year's Eve in the gym working out,
he can certainly spend his birthday.
He can spend his birthday in Radio City Music Hall on stage in a prize ring.
So as Telesco demonstrated at the last round, he's willing to take pride in the notion that Jones can't knock him out. And we'll see if Jones falls for the bait and makes himself more available to Telesco in the 12th.
Well, and I think Jones has been trying to knock him out. That's not always been the case in the past when he got into the late rounds.
Well, suffice to say, I think he likes Telesco now even less than he did before the 12 rounds began.
Stop talking!
Crowd watching and hoping that Roy Jones can close the show with a memorable flourish.
Well, or surely there are many who are hoping Telesco will finish. Hometown fans rooting for the Portchester, New York fighter.
Well, as you said, Jim, when you meet the best Roy Jones and you survive like this, you've done all right.
Come on, box.
They're still talking to each other.
Well, the referee doesn't have to pay much attention to that anymore.
Roy said after a wild right hand by Telesco, I saw that. Telesco saying, you can't hurt me, you bitch. A dialogue with fists and mouth.
Jones can finish him off if he wants to.
Telesco almost tempted him into range for a left hook.
He had him hurt, let him off the hook.
Jones is bombing him with these right hands. He really does want to finish with a KO. And Telesco is wobblier than at any other time in the bout, but he's still talking.
Telesco is out of it. He's out of it.
Yeah, if he can eat about 2 more right hands, he'll make it out of the 12 rounds.
There's one, there's two, there's three, there's four.
Roy Jones, I didn't know he had.
A blistering performance by Jones. A humiliating night for Telesco. But Telesco will catcall Jones on the basis of finishing the fight. Cold comfort.
After a good fight like that, you like to see the fighters embrace, say good fight. All the talking and carrying on like that.
I doubt it.
Was not sportsmanship.
Yep. Well, we'll see.
Still.
Telesco's handlers carry him around the ring. A bit absurd. And here's a look at some of the damage that Roy did in the 12th round as he feinted and ducked Telesco's shots and fired big overhand rights trying to knock the man out.
Yeah, the great light heavyweights, Archie Moore and the likes, they put those combinations together and they put the volleys together and they finished their guys off. They didn't have to taunt them and throw roundhouse shots on top of the head.
Is that one way of saying, George, that you don't think Roy ranks with the great light heavyweights, Archie Moore, Bob Foster, et cetera, et cetera?
If he wanted to rank with them, he can't start it off with all of that talking and hitting, slinging shots and not going out for the knockouts and finishing. I don't like it, and that is not what boxing is about.
Harold, your card?
I don't know. 119, 109, 11 rounds to 1, Roy Jones Jr. The only round I saw David Telesco winning was round 8, and I want to tell you, Roy Jones Jr. keeps this fight, Jim, any place he wants in that ring. His ring generalship is unbelievable. I mean,
if you call that ring generalship,
it is ring
then
generalship.
you got a problem.
It is ring generalship. If he wants to go into the ropes, he takes him into the ropes and he locks him up. He grips him behind the elbows. He doesn't allow him to punch. If he wants it in the middle, George, he keeps him in the middle. I think it's beautiful ring generalship. Quick speed, a lot of punches landed, good power.
All right, let's go to Michael Buffer with the official particulars on the decision.
What's up, Jay? Out of Houston, rap a lot, baby. We still doing this. One-handed, baby. You saw it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official scoring. Melvina Lathan scores the bout 120 to 108. Sid Rubenstein scores the bout 120 to 106. And Luis Rivera scores the bout 120 to 108 for the winner by unanimous decision and still the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Well, yet another lopsided decision for Jones. And at least one gentleman in the ring, someone I didn't recognize, came over to tell us that Roy indicated to him that he broke his left hand a few weeks ago. Final punch stat numbers will demonstrate Jones's complete dominance of the fight, landing 133 punches more, almost twice as many, throwing 81 punches more, landing at an astronomical 59% connect rate. Telesco did well to land 39% against Jones. Not too many opponents reached that level of the stratosphere. Power punches, and neither fighter threw or landed many jabs. And you can see that Jones had 141 more connects in this area, throwing 131 more power shots than Telesco launched, and landing 66% of his crosses, hooks, uppercuts, and body shots. Let's go to Larry Merchant with the winner.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Roy.
Thank you, man.
Did you fulfill your greatest hopes in this fight by appearing on this stage and giving a big effort?
Oh, most definitely. New York is beautiful. First, I'd like to say thank God to God for giving me the opportunity to come and perform. Thanks to Whitney Houston, Method Man, Red May, everybody who participated, HBO, The Garden, everybody that was a part of this big event. I'm very proud to have successfully did this. I wasn't going to say anything, but I had a fractured left hand coming into the fight, but I refused to turn the fight down because I wanted to get this opportunity to do this.
Where was the hand fractured and when was it fractured?
It was fractured in the wrist, my left wrist, about 3.5 weeks ago. But I told the doctor, I said, if it's not broke, I have to go through with this because I will not miss the opportunity to fight in New York, especially fighting at Radio City Music Hall.
So Did you have a cast on the hand during that period? Were you able to spar during that period to prepare for this?
I sparred 3 days. I never hit a heavy bag. I never hit anything with my left hand the entire training camp. I couldn't. I just got to where I could make a fist yesterday, and I still can't make a complete fist, and I can't turn my left hand all the way over. But I refuse to be beat. God bless me with talent, and I come out here and use my talent to the best of my ability, and I accept a challenge like that any day of the week.
Is that why you relied so much tonight on your right-hand leads and your punches to the body?
That's all I had was a right-hand lead. I could not do anything with the left. The left was completely done, but I did do a couple of things, but it was hurting so bad until I wanted to make sure that the right hand was most dominant. And like I said, I would not have let my fans down and turned this opportunity down. We had a chance to come together, do something big. I love New York. I love my fans all over the world, and I refuse to turn it down. If I get an opportunity, they say I don't have competition, fine. I'll beat them one-handed.
So you handicapped yourself by fighting one-handed tonight, but still he stood up pretty bravely to a tremendous barrage of punches, didn't he?
Most New York fighters can fight. Most New York fighters have a lot of heart. I have to take my hat off to him. He took a lot of punishment. He endured it. He kept coming like a man. He said he wanted a chance to win the title. I gave him the opportunity because that's what a real champion does. Hurt or not hurt, I come to perform. Had I lost, I would have never said a thing about my hand because that's how Roy Jones is. Roy Jones is real, baby. Thanks to Whitney Houston. Thanks to everybody.
Did all of the back and forth talking in the fight keep you going and make you want to stop him at the end?
No, I just wanted to beat him up just to show him that even though I'm one-handed, I am the man. See, when you're the man, you don't have to get frustrated about all that other stuff. You know you're the best. You don't have to get frustrated about nothing nobody tells you. You do your thing, and that's what you do. People have big events like this so a performer can get a chance to perform. I'm performing for my people, not for him.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank all the fans in New York. I enjoyed it. Thank you for this birthday gift, and thank God.
Wait a minute. What?
Pensacola in the house.
Hold on here, Roy. Happy 31st birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you, New York. Thank you, the rest of the world. Thank you, Pensacola. Thank you, Fred Levin. What's up, Stanley? What's up, everybody at home? Thank you. I love you all, and thank God most.
You got enough breath left to blow out all these candles?
I got enough breath to blow out all these candles to go 12 more rounds. Yeah. Knocked him out the box. Thank you. Thank you again, New York.
Thank you, Roy. Another knockout.
All right, Larry.
So finally, these thoughts. A boxing magazine recently called The Fight Game had some theoretical matchups with Roy Jones and all of the great light heavyweights down through history, and agreed that only 2 of them might have beaten Roy Jones, Billy Conn and Ezra Charles. Others may have different opinions, but nobody can dispute the fact that we've seen an extraordinary prize fighter tonight. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Larry. At the beginning of the evening, we asked you to tune in to our HBO Boxing website and answer the poll question, which was, assuming a victory over David Telesco, whom would you like to see Roy Jones choose as his next opponent? We listed 4 candidates: Bernard Hopkins, Graciano Rakhajani, Dariush Michalczewski, and Michael Nunn. Let's see how you voted tonight. 49% of you. Aha! You are boxing fans. 49% of you recognize that of the 4 possible contenders, Michalczewski has the most impressive record, and therefore you want to see the southpaw from Gdansk, Poland, now fighting out of Hamburg, Germany, as Roy Jones's next opponent. Incidentally, Michalczewski is now going to be fighting Rakhajani a little bit later on this year, so it's unlikely that Roy Jones could meet him in May when he might next be appearing on HBO, but it is possible that Jones could face Michalczewski a little